The most life-changing day of my life was on August 18th, 2021. All it took to change my life was one phone call. I was on my way home from volleyball practice where I was an assistant coach for the women's volleyball team at Long Beach City College. It was my first year as a collegiate employee, and I felt like I was on top of the world. COVID was just ending, and sports were finally returning to normal. And then I got a call. It was my mom, which was not unusual, but what she had to tell me would rock my world. My 4 nieces and nephews, Damon, Olivia, Tina, and Noah, were in a situation that was no longer safe. They needed somewhere to stay, potentially a permanent home. It was really hard to take in that moment because me and my mom both worked about an hour away from where we lived. So someone would have to tend to the kids. My mom had been in her career for almost 15 years, so that person was me. At first, I thought, I don't know how to be a dad. This was all new to me. But as I felt that and as I thought that, deep down inside, I knew what the right thing was to do. And I told my mom without really thinking, let's go get him. And then another thought slammed into me. What about my partner, Giancarlo? A few months prior, I'd met the most amazing man. His connection with me was so strong, and I felt like someday we would have kids, but this soon? And 4? It was a lot to take in, and honestly, I didn't know how to tell him. So nervously, when I got home, I told him what the situation was, and he said, okay, great. I wasn't expecting that, but that's my amazing partner. From the day Giancarlo and I have been together, he has been so supportive of anything and everything that I want to do. So my mom, Giancarlo, and I decided that our small family of 3 would take in my 4 nieces and nephews to become a big family of 7. So on the day we decided to pick them up, I was so nervous. The night before, I was thinking things like, will they remember me? Will I be able to connect with them? Will I still be considered their cool uncle? It was a lot to take in, but Giancarlo, being the supportive partner, he pulled me aside, he looked me in my eyes and said, no matter what, they will be loved. His words calmed me, and I felt a great sense of relief and support. So the day of, Giancarlo decided to stay home and make a big feast to welcome the kids in, and me and my mom went to go pick the kids up. As we arrived to pick them up, they were ecstatic. It was like a big family reunion. We shared hugs, we cried, we laughed. My mom quickly took the girls with her because she wanted to have girl time, and I took the boys with me. As we were driving, me and Damon were catching up, and Noah was sitting in the back complaining about traffic. Something so simple had become so precious in that moment, and it felt really good to just connect with them. When we got home, that's when the real work began. Most parents raise their children from babies, but we were raising children who had already developed personalities, who were rebounding from a huge dose of trauma. So I didn't know how to connect with them at first. So initially, I thought, why not just ask them, what do they want to be when they grow up? Damon and Tina wanted to be YouTube stars. Olivia dreams of becoming an artist, and Noah would say, I don't know. They all wanted to share their artistic gifts with the world, and I wanted to connect with them. But how do I do that? I thought first maybe I should share my passion with them, volleyball. But I quickly realized volleyball wasn't in my life to necessarily pass the sport along to them, but maybe I could take some of the things that I learned and I could teach them or lead them like a parent. So that required a lot of deep soul searching, and I thought long and hard about what I could do to connect with them, and I finally had an idea. So I sat the family down and I told them, I have a deep desire to write a book. They all looked at me with surprise, which made sense. I had never expressed I wanted to write a book. It was something that I didn't believe I could do. But now with 4 children in front of me who had dreams of their own, I had to show them that I could realize my own as well as they could. I continued. I want to not only write a book, but I want to write a book together as a family. At first, it was quiet, and then they all started talking at once. Tina said, "When do we start?" Damon said, "I will draw the main character," and Olivia said, "We should use Sailor Moon as our influence." And when I asked Noah, "What did you think, Noah?" he would say, "I don't know." It was so great. We were all laughing, we were all connecting, but most importantly, I was getting to know the children. So, fast forward, we created this illustrations for all of the characters, and we wanted to create characters that would empower children from all around the world. And so, we did. We created a story for a children's chapter book. But then what? I was lost. I didn't know the first thing about publishing a book. So I began to give up on an idea that was so important to me, but now was important to the 4 children I was raising. I felt powerless. Have you ever felt like that, where you just feel powerless? How did you find hope? How did you find your power? For me, it was my amazing support system. My loving partner, Giancarlo, my beautiful mom, and the 4 amazing children that I was raising. One day I was researching how to publish a book, and everything about it was frustrating. It seemed too hard or too expensive, and just the thought of someone buying a book from me. Who did I think I was, J.K. Rowling? And then Giancarlo pulled me aside. He looked me in my eyes and he said, "I found a publisher." And then he continued, "We meet with them next week." I could not believe what I was hearing. My eyes widened. I was in complete shock. While I had given up on an idea that not only meant so much to me, but my entire family, my partner was right there supporting me and saying, "Yes, you can. Yes, we can." So we had a book, we had the illustrations, we had a publisher. Nothing was stopping us, right? Nope. Life has a way of showing you if you really want something, you've got to go after it. So the publishing team loved the idea of the book, but refinement was needed. So I went back to the drawing board not once, not twice, but 3 times. And each time I thought about giving up. It was one of the hardest processes in my life. But I felt that was life's way of showing me not only was I crafting a story that meant so much to me and my family, I was crafting a story that could mean anything to any family that reads it. So, after I went back to the drawing board and I finally was able to come together with an idea that I felt comfortable with and the publishing team fully supported, I was able to birth the story of Icarus. And Icarus is an important character to me because he is an embodiment of my inner child and all the struggles I and my children have been through. So, one day I had a really big breakthrough. I was sitting in front of the manuscript and I was asking myself, why am I doing this? And then I thought, this is the why. I wanted to create a story that empowered and inspired children. It was that simple. Once I stopped complicating it, that's when the story was completely finished. So choosing to become a father not only inspired me to write a book and to find my true calling, it inspired me to finish something that I had started. And my desire to empower the children of the world, I empowered myself. So I leave you with a quote that has inspired me and my family to embrace all that life has to offer. There is a hero in each of us. Embrace the journey, and you will find the hero within.